Okay, here we go. Going live on Facebook. Alrighty.
I'm interested in how this is done because I've never
Oh, yeah.
done it through Zoom.
What'd you say?
I've never gone live through Zoom, so.
Yeah, so you just click on more. Are you on your computer?
Yeah, my laptop.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you would click on the three little dots. You see where it says more? Click on that, and you should be able to say, it should say live on Facebook, live on Workplace, live on YouTube. You see that? Okay. If you don't see it, then you have to change it to say Facebook.
Okay.
I could send you a video on how to do that, but yeah, that's basically what you do.
Okay.
And
now, do I need to go live too, or will this all upload on your end?
It would be on my group.
Okay, cool.
Right? And so it's being recorded, so you'll be able to have the recording, but you won't be able to go live. I don't think so. Can you? I don't know. I've never done that before.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't even want to try.
Maybe we'll try that like a test and do it, another time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've never done that before. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't even want to try.
Maybe we'll try that like a test. Hello, everybody. Hello. We are starting in about 1 minute. Hello, everybody. I'm gonna close this and I'm gonna open my on my phone so I can keep track of the comments. All righty. So today we are talking about boundaries. We're talking about boundaries and how they are related to your money. Why is it important to have boundaries? Okay. And we have the beautiful Dynasty here who's going to talk to us about how to manage our boundaries, why boundaries are so important, and how to implement them so that they can help your finances. So typically, Dynasty, we start like about 5 minutes. We give everybody time to get on. So we're going to use this 5 minutes and I'm going to allow you, give you the floor to introduce yourself. Okay, so take it away.
Sure. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much, Katiana. I appreciate your time and just allowing me to influence the people on your platform, because I know you've done so much to build this and develop their mindset. So I'm so appreciative of that. But hi, everybody. My name is Dynasty Maitland, and I'm a financial coach. I'm a money coach, whatever you want to call it. And I help high income earners, high income professionals build wealth and develop a personalized plan, I should say, to build wealth for them so that they have choices to do whatever it is that they want, whether it's traveling or becoming a millionaire or spending more time with family or doing all three of those things, whatever it is that they want to do, that is my goal to help them. So I'm passionate about personal finance because, I came from a background where my family didn't really talk about it, similar to most of you guys, I'm assuming. And finances is still a taboo topic. So just not knowing anything from childhood and just having to learn on my own and being taught from other financial coaches has just been really impactful for me. So that is why I do this.
Awesome. Alrighty. We got a couple of people in the room. Hello, Julie. Hello, Amy. Hello, Natalie. We got a couple of people. Alrighty. Awesome. So since we have some people watching, everybody kind of came on. So Facebook's doing its job of telling everybody that we're on. So we're going to get this conversation started because I don't want to keep you too long. Usually when it's just me, I like play music and I talk to everybody and let the time go by. But, we're on your time tonight. And thank you for being here. Okay. Awesome. So before we get into everything, I'd like to ask you, how do you define boundaries, right? What do boundaries mean to you?
Yeah, that is such a good question. So I guess for me, I would say when it comes to finances, like boundaries to me are really rules that you set in place to balance the relationship between your finances, your loved ones, and yourself. Because a lot of times we just think like, this is my budget and this is my finances. While that may be true to a certain extent, people play a lot into how we handle our money. And so although we may make a plan that we're going to do something this way, people come in, and sometimes that changes. So it's really just setting a boundary so that you can balance the relationship again between your finances, your loved ones, and yourself.
Awesome, awesome, beautiful. And so it's funny because when you and I first connected, and I invited you to speak to this community here, to my community, our community, right? I gave you the autonomy to speak about whatever you wanted to speak about. And, I was surprised when I saw your email and you said that you were going to talk about boundaries and finances. And so talk to me about why you chose to speak on boundaries, and how they relate to your finances. I know you covered it a little bit, but why did you choose this topic?
Yeah, so I chose this, and I speak to this with my clients when we're going through like the money mindset section of my program. And I talk about it because I struggle with it. And again, not having conversations about money when we're, grown up in school or childhood, we don't really think about how boundaries can correlate to money. So this was a big thing that I had to go through while I was getting my finances in order. So I had to learn how to set boundaries with friends to be able to help them understand that I still care about their friendship, but I can't always go out to brunch every single weekend, or I can't go out to eat every single night or order out or something like that. So being able to say, hey, I'm trying to stick to my financial goals right now, but would you mind maybe coming over and we'll cook something together or something along those lines? So that is where it has come into place for me.
Nice. I love it. I love it. Well, I'm going to let you take it away. Do your spiel. Talk to us about boundaries. Give us the lowdown. Give us the implementation. What can I go do to, to start setting some boundaries? Go ahead.
Yeah. So I wanted to first talk to you guys about why boundaries are important. Because before I tell people to do things, I want them to understand like why it's important and how to do it. So one reason why boundaries are important in general, whether it's with money or relationships, is so that we don't get ourselves in a position where we're either resentful towards our friends or family, we're drained, exhausted, or overwhelmed, or now we're anxious because maybe we gave someone too much money that we really couldn't afford to do.
Wait, you are speaking the truth here, right?
Yeah.
The guilt of having like, oh, they asked and I have the money. I'm the bad guy if I say no, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. And a lot of people feel that way when it comes to like their parents or people that raised them. So yes, that is a big deal. And a second reason why setting boundaries is important is because mental health. And when I was studying to teach this to my clients, I read a statistic that said 40% of people that meet with their therapists that come in for other issues that they have anxiety with or depression with, 40% of those people say that they also face depression around money, and that their feelings just become more complicated when their family members are added or just different things like that. So I just wanted to speak to that, as mental health is really important, and I always recommend people find a therapist or counselor or a friend that you can confide in to help you to release some of those stressors.
Right, exactly. And it's funny you say that because one of the leading causes of divorce is finances, right?
Yep.
And there's also a misconception too that when I make more money, I'll know what to do with it, or when I make more money, I'll handle it better. But that's not the case. Like I was telling you before we got on the live here, is that I have clients. I have clients that make 10, 20, 15K a month, right? A lot of the travel nurses that I work with, a lot of the physicians, right, making 20 to upwards of $26,000 a month, yet are still struggling to have a savings, yet are still struggling to have extra money. Like, where can boundaries help them, to make that better, right? Yeah. Where would boundaries fit into this?
Yeah. So for those situations, what I find most is like doing your best to and this is hard, but doing your best to try to stick to your spending plan or your budget that you set for yourself, and doing your best to try not to allow like lifestyle creep to come into place, because I know oftentimes it's tempting, like when you make more money you want to like either spend it or purchase this thing you've always wanted or help this person that you've always wanted. And so I think it's very important that you try to stick to those boundaries with what you set for yourself, like set a budget of 500 or whatever in whatever category and really try to stick to that 500. So that's what I would say in those situations.
Right, right. And so it's just a matter of setting the boundaries before it becomes a problem, right?
Right.
It's just a matter of, hey, listen, I know that because I make more money, I know that more people are going to expect that I help them. So I'm going to have a budget just for that, because it's not going to go away. But let me say, hey, my budget is, I have $500 that I can send to Haiti to help my family, or I have $500 that I can lend to any friend that needs money. Right, this $500 I can afford to never see it again, or I have $1,000 that I can spend on Amazon, and that's it, because I know I'm not going to stop spending money on Amazon. That's not happening. I'm not going to stop going to happy hour with my friends. That's not happening. I'm a human being, but I'm going to get ready for it by setting those boundaries before it becomes a problem. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Awesome.
100%.
Awesome.
Totally agree.
Yes. Go ahead, do your thing. I'm just asking questions. I'm the student taking notes.
No, that's fine.
Yes.
So the next thing I wanted to talk about, so we spoke about why setting boundaries are important. So I wanted to go into helping people have the confidence to really set a boundary, because I know sometimes standing up for yourself can be difficult, especially when it comes to either saying no to friends or family or something like that. So something that I have written down in my notes is like putting your own needs first and not feeling like you're a bad person because you're doing that. Right. And understanding that you matter and that it is okay to really put yourself first in these situations. So I encourage people to empower yourself and understand that you have the right to set financial boundaries. You have the right to not try to rescue everyone out of their financial problems. You have the right to be a healthy financial role model to your family, to your kids, to your friends. Like you have the right to do all these things. So really like take responsibility, empower yourself, and really understand like it is your right to put yourself first.
Ooh, we say it again. Everybody type in a 1 in the chat if you felt that. Type in a 1. She said, say it again. Say it to the people again.
So you have the right to set financial boundaries. You have the right to not rescue others from their financial problems. You have the right to take responsibility of your financial future. And you have the right to be a healthy role model for your children, for your family, for your friends, whoever else is in your life, your boss, whoever it is.
Right. Exactly. You have the right to put yourself first, because how can you possibly help others if you're giving? You can't give from an empty cup, right? Your cup may be half full, but eventually you keep giving and giving and giving and never taking and never replenishing it. Eventually you're not going to be able to give not only to others, but you're definitely not going to be able to give to yourself or your children, right? And that's even worse. Right? And so you have the right to say no.
Yes, you do. You have the right. And like put that affirmation up on your wall or set it as an alert or something to just remind yourself, so that when you do need to say no, you don't back down or you don't give in to people please or anything like that. So
Right. Because saying no, saying yes to something that you really want to say no to, now you're hurting yourself, right? And so, at what point do you put yourself first, right? I love this. Yes. Go ahead, do your thing, girl. I keep interrupting because you're just speaking facts. I love it. Yeah.
So I want to go into kind of setting boundaries with yourself, or whether it's you and your spouse, and then maybe going a little bit into setting boundaries with family, like parents, and then maybe some boundaries with kids. So I don't know if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah, go ahead, take it away. We have plenty of time. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So we did talk about like setting boundaries, you know, with yourself by creating a budget. That's one way. You can set a boundary around like your savings goals. So like, you know, we need to have this much in savings and we can't really do anything else, you know, splurge, or we really shouldn't be going on, you know, a wild vacation if we don't really have this type of savings in place. You can set a boundary around that with you and your spouse. You can set a boundary with, you know, with how much money you're going to give to family and friends. So like you said, Katiana, like, all right, you know, you can say to your spouse or to yourself, like if someone asks me for, let's say up to $500, like you can tell your spouse, like, you know, give it to them, that's fine. But if they're asking for, you know, more than $500, we need to have a conversation about that and see if we can, you know, fit that in our budget while also accomplishing our family goals.
Right.
So that's something that, you know, you can set with your spouse. Let's see what else. I would also say, like, how do I say this in a good way? So like, this might be hard, but also expecting resistance when you set boundaries with either your partner or a family member, because people may not like it when we say no, and when we stand up for ourselves, they may resent it. They may not want you to do that. So really just having that courage and understanding that this is temporary. They're just going to be mad for a while, and then they're your family or friends. So if they're really true to you, like they're going to come back around. So that's it for that. Other ways that you can help others who are going through financial difficult times is offering like non-financial help. So like I know one time like I lost a job. And so some of my friends, instead of like giving me money, they would actually help me to find like little gigs on the side that was able to pay me and kind of help me get through. And then I actually ended up getting a job from like one of my friends. So that's something you could do if you have a family member, friend that is unemployed. You can offer those types of things, like you looking at their resumes or just offering different types of jobs.
Ooh, I love that. Can we hone in on that real quick, right? So many times we feel guilty because a lot of the people watching are from the Caribbean, right? And we're you know, from Haiti, Jamaica, right? And most of us are from the minority community. And so it is engraved in our society, in our culture, to always give back because we come from nothing, right? And so it's such a part of us. Like, you know, if I have $1, I need to be able to give away 50 cents, right? And that may have worked for the past generation, but when we're shifting our entire paradigm, we're shifting our entire mindset to create wealth. Our parents and our grandparents were just worried about surviving. Right. They were just worried about making it to the next day and giving their kids a better life than what they had. They weren't worried about generational wealth, right? That's not what was on their mind, because if that was, then we would have generational wealth. But in this time, you know, in this generation, especially millennials like us, and even Gen Z, Gen Xers, and even what's the one behind us, the Gen Z? Are they generation?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So all generations can agree that, hey, you know, we're here to build generational wealth. And so the stuff that our parents were doing when it came to finances is not going to work for us to create millions of dollars, right? And so I love that we can satisfy that urge of helping because it's engraved in us. This is not something that we can just shift out of nowhere, right? We can satisfy that urge of helping by helping with non-monetary ways. Like, I love that, how your friends helped you find a job. They say, hey, they could have easily let you borrow money to pay your rent, to let you borrow money to go eat. But what's that going to solve, really? You're going to need money again, right? And so I love that, being able to help without hurting yourself. I'm sure that your friend giving you those gigs and telling you about this, and that did not hurt their pockets. And so, guys, those of you watching, you can help, you can give back. but it doesn't have to hurt you in the process. I love that. Thank you for covering that. Yes.
Yes. I love that you said that, because that's the biggest point about boundaries. Like, it's about finding balance. Like, you can still do what you want to do, but do it in a way where it's not injuring you. And that's the big point that I want to come across. So I love that you said that.
Right. Yeah, we're on the same frequency here. Same Zoom, same frequency.
Exactly.
Yes.
So the next section I wanted to talk about was like setting boundaries around family. And you just did a great introduction to that, because with working with people and even in my own life and my own family, I've seen that with family, this is where codependency can come into place, financially speaking. And what I mean by that is codependency really is where there's an unhealthy reliance or addiction to the relationship or on the relationship, whether it's to meet financial needs, emotional needs, spiritual needs, whatever that is. And, some parents or some people, some family members may feel good about being a financial savior in the relationship, but that's not really healthy. And so what I really try to encourage people is that if they are encountering a family member that may be guilting them or guilt tripping them, just try to communicate them in a loving, respectful way. Like you just said, Katiana, I can't give you money, but I could do X instead. I can look at your resume instead. I could do this instead. Or like, I wish I could help, but right now it's not a good time. Or, it's not in my best interest right now to really help you, but I can do something instead, or another month would be better. So, things like that. So, for example, this didn't happen to me, but it's an example that came to my mind. Like, my grandmother was getting her roof fixed like a month or two ago. And I believe it cost like $13,000 to fix a roof. And so she had the money, but I just kind of thought like, well, what if she didn't have the money and she came to me for half of it or something like that? Like, if I'm hitting my financial goals and I don't really have half of it, I could say, you know what, I don't really have the money for that, but I can send over, my spouse, if I was married, to kind of temporarily fix the leak or whatever the issue was.
Right.
Those are some things you can do. So
exactly. You can still offer help, but you don't have to hurt yourself, right? You don't have to. If you can offer monetary help, then do what you got to do. But it's not always necessary. There's always another way.
Right.
Beautiful. I love it.
Yeah. And the last, section here is with friends. And, I kind of touched on this earlier where I spoke about like, friends who may always want to go out to spend money, whether it's to the bar or to the club or eating out. And, just being able to lovingly say no and still make them feel like you're not canceling every time they try to set an appointment, a going out with you or outgoing with you. I don't know what the right word is.
Right. We're such busy entrepreneurs. We're so used to appointment. Like I had an appointment. Well, it could be an appointment with friends. Appointment to drink.
Right. Set an appointment.
Yes.
So yeah, you can say like, I'd love to, but I'm trying not to spend money right now. Would you be down to come over or something like that to watch a show and let's cook together? So those are some options, but that's really all that I have to touch on boundaries.
Awesome. So we'll take it to the audience. Any questions from the audience? Type in the 2 if this conversation was helpful, right? This was super helpful. Let's get some questions in the audience and then we're going to wrap things up. But this was just a brief conversation about boundaries, right? Sometimes you need to hear it from someone else because sometimes hearing me talk, you kind of get parent death, right? I tell my students and I tell this community these things all the time, but sometimes having a fresh face, that's not me, right? Say the same thing. It's probably like, oh, that's what Kat was saying. I get it now. Exactly. Awesome. So while we're waiting on the questions, guys, write your questions in the comments, okay? While we're waiting on the questions, who is your ideal client and how do you help your clients? Like, go ahead and tell us how how that works.
Yep. So my ideal clients are high income professionals or entrepreneurs. And like I said, I really help personalize a plan for them to build wealth. And my program is a 4-month program, and I like to think it's like a holistic dive into someone's finances. So a lot of the times I typically find people who are having issues with eliminating their debt or creating or building their savings. And so those are kind of some of the key issues that come to me. And so I really just try to dissect and just be like, okay, what are some things that you are willing to work on? What are some things you're willing to change and sacrifice throughout this process? And really just analyze where they're being stuck. And I think I told you before this, like a lot of the times when you look at the root of it, it's kind of like just spending habits and just making some minor adjustments and having someone to kind of walk you along the way to that change, because sometimes it's hard to do things like that on your own. So
Right, exactly. And so those of you who are looking to have an accountability partner of some sort, right? Someone to have these conversations with, because I focus on investing, right? When you get on the phone with me and you say, "Hey, Kat, I want to make, and I want to retire early, or I want to have a college savings," right? The first thing I ask you is, what is your savings looking like, right?
mhm.
And if the saving is not there, I tell you, go save and come back to me when you're ready. Okay. But how do you save, right? What is the mindset shift, right? How do you implement, hey, I have this cash flow coming in. How do I know how much of it is going to savings? How much of it is going to debt, right? How do I know the nitty gritty? I know I'm supposed to save. I know I'm supposed to spend less than I make. I know that. We all know that. But why are we not doing it is the question that we really should be asking ourselves. And Dynasty here, she can definitely help you out so that you go learn how to save with her. All right. You learn how to set those boundaries and get your finances in order so that you're ready to invest. Okay.
Right.
Awesome. Any last words you want to say before we let you go? I know you got to go. But anything else you wanted to add?
Um,
I'm trying to see if there's any questions in here. Questions.
I really like what you said, just, you guys being able to set boundaries with yourself or whoever it is, and being able to understand that you can still fulfill your own needs
Mhm.
while still, helping other people or choosing not to help other people.
Right.
And if you are struggling with the savings, those are one of the ways that you can start to get to that point of really building the savings you want, is just being clear on your boundaries and like sticking to them.
Right. Exactly. Right. Yeah. It's one thing to have them to say, "Oh, I'm going to say no to happy hour this month or this week." And then your friend calls you and is like, "Come on, let's go." You
Right.
never go out and then you cave in. That is not boundaries. Right.
Right.
Stick to your
Exactly.
guns. Right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, that's pretty much it for our time. It was short and sweet today. Just wanted to have
Yeah.
Dynasty come and speak to you guys, right? I'm here to bring as many experts, as many other individuals that can add on to your education. I always tell you guys, right? You don't have to work with me. Right.
Mhm.
I can't work with everybody. Dynasty can't work with everybody, but together, right? When her and we tackle the community and help the community the way that we can, when we do it together, now we can be as impactful as we need to be to really make a change. All right. And so thank you so much, Dynasty, for being in our platform. And I hope to see you again and again and again. And you are not a stranger. Please don't be a stranger.
Okay.
And I can't wait to collaborate with you again. Okay.
Yes, of course.
All right. So that's pretty
Okay.
much it, guys. A short and sweet today. I will talk to you soon.
Have a
Bye-bye,
good
everybody.
night.
Bye.